Out on the Mediterranean, about 60 miles south of Marseille, a small crew of Italian fishermen pass the hours on their boat, dealing cards and laughing even as the heavy rain keeps pounding the deck late into the night. One of them, drunk on too much wine, steps outside to toss something overboard, but instead notices a strange figure drifting toward the vessel. With the other's help, he hauls the body from the water. It's a man, unconscious, yet somehow still alive. The skipper, Giancarlo, pulls him aside to treat his wounds, extracting bullets from his body. He also finds a tiny device embedded in the man's hip. Looking closer, it blinks red and shows data linked to a Swiss bank. Odd indeed. Suddenly, the stranger wakes and lunges at Giancarlo, dazed and disoriented. Giancarlo tries to calm him, assuring him there's no harm meant. The man is unstable, clearly suffering amnesia, not even aware of his own name. He collapses again before Giancarlo can ask more questions. At CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, Agent Zorn briefs his superior, Conklin. Back aboard, the mysterious man gradually recovers and begins pitching in with chores and fishing. 2 weeks drift by, but his memory stays blank. He can speak several languages, read and write with ease, and perform complicated tasks. Yet he has no idea what to look for. Eventually, they reach shore. Giancarlo gives him some cash and advises him to head for Switzerland. He catches a bus, still lost about who he is. That night, he sleeps on a park bench until 2 officers rouse him, demanding ID and telling him the park is closed. To his shock, he answers in fluent German. When they turn hostile, he instinctively disarms them with startling precision, leaving them on the ground with their own gun pointed at them. Startled by his reflexes, he throws the weapon aside and bolts. Elsewhere, a group of senior officials listens to a recording of Wambosi, a politician alleging the agency tried to kill him. He warns he'll publish a book about their operations in Africa unless he's restored to power in 6 months. Later, Ward Abbott privately presses Conklin about the failed attempt. Conklin admits their operative has gone dark, but claims they're working to regain control. Meanwhile, the man arrives at a Swiss bank and inquires about the numbered account tied to the device. After providing the digits, he's escorted to a vault. A fingerprint scan grants him access to a private booth where he receives a safety deposit box. Inside, he finds a passport naming him Jason Bourne with a Paris address. Beneath the first tray, he uncovers stacks of cash, a firearm, and multiple passports under different identities, all bearing his face. He packs everything except the gun into a red bag and leaves. Before departing, he casually asks the clerk when he last came by and learns it was 3 weeks ago. Unseen, a watcher outside makes a call the instant he steps onto the street. Bourne heads to a phone booth to dial but senses someone tailing him. Thinking quickly, he ducks into the U.S. Embassy, flashing his American passport. The men shadowing him cannot follow due to jurisdictional limits. While waiting in line, Bourne notices a woman, Marie, annoyed with her visa process. Still alert, he slips out of line but is halted by security. Bag. Stay right there. He raises his hands as if yielding, then abruptly strikes, disarming the guard and throwing the area into chaos. People scatter as Bourne seizes the guard's gun and dashes upstairs. He drops another officer and snatches his radio. Alarms ring as security mobilizes. He tears down an evacuation plan, ducks around a corner, and follows the map to reach the top floor before slipping through a side window. Facing a steep drop, he climbs a metal railing to scale the wall. It collapses, but he catches the ledge at the last instant. His bag, however, smashes to the ground. Clinging tight, he hides as security opens the door above. After a quick check, they leave, never spotting him. Slowly, Bourne scales down to the street, grabs his bag, and escapes. At the same time, Zorn receives confirmation from the bank source and notifies Conklin of Bourne's whereabouts. Conklin reacts immediately. Outside, Bourne spots Marie by her car and recognizes her. He offers her $10,000 to drive him to Paris. She thinks it's absurd until he tosses the money into her lap and promises another $10,000 at arrival. When police cars roll by, Bourne hides his face, unsettling her further. He gives no explanations, and she eventually consents, needing the money. Back at CIA, security video confirms Bourne at the embassy. Zorn updates Conklin, who orders global assets activated. Bourne must be eliminated. Operatives are alerted. The professor in Barcelona, Mannheim in Hamburg, and Castel in Rome. On the road, Marie chatters endlessly about her troubles before realizing she hasn't let him speak. Bourne tells her to continue, admitting her voice calms him, which lightens her mood. She asks his taste in music, but Bourne admits he doesn't know. Suspicious of his offer, she presses him. Bourne opens up about his memory loss, though Marie doubts him. At CIA, a new photo shows Bourne with Marie. They swiftly identify her, and Conklin orders a full profile of her and her family to determine her connection. Their photos are relayed to the Treadstone safe house in Paris, where Nicolette, a field agent, distributes them. Bourne and Marie stop at a diner. He tries to show her the seriousness of his situation. He lays out the passports, asking what kind of man keeps a box of cash, multiple IDs, and a bank code implanted in his hip. He admits the first thing he did on entering was scan all exits. Marie brushes it off, noting he'd been shot. Then he reveals he memorized all license plates outside, knows where a gun is likely hidden nearby, and can sprint half a mile at altitude before his hands tremble. He can't explain how he knows these things but not his own name, leaving her shaken. By morning, they reach Paris. Marie wakes Bourne, who finally slept. He directs her to the passport address and pays her the remainder. He invites her inside since she's the only person he knows. A housekeeper answers and greets Bourne by sight. Inside, nothing jogs his memory, though paperwork suggests he once worked in shipping. Marie excuses herself to use the bathroom while Bourne calls a hotel, asking for Jason Bourne. No record exists. Remembering his alias, he asks for John Michael Caine. This time they confirm it, but also say Caine died in an accident 2 weeks earlier. A supposed brother retrieved his belongings. Bourne asks if any number was left. Did his brother leave a way to contact him? None. Disturbed, Bourne hangs up, suddenly tense. Marie calls out, complaining about freezing water. Bourne checks the kitchen, same issue, then discreetly arms himself with a knife. As he approaches, she steps out, and he swiftly hides the blade. She notices his shift in mood and questions him, but he brushes it off. Then noises outside catch his ear. Suddenly, gunfire smashes the glass. Bourne dodges as Castel bursts in, attacking. Moving forward, I just want to let you know, if you liked watching this video, please consider subscribing, as it helps us grow and make more content for you. A savage fight follows, but Bourne's instincts carry him through, and he defeats Castel. He tosses Castel's bag to Marie to search while interrogating. Who are you? Marie finds surveillance photos of Bourne, and then herself. She panics, demanding answers, but Bourne restrains her, insisting he'll handle it. I'll do this. You stay there. Castel seizes the moment, leaps out the window, and crashes to the street, leaving them stunned. Knowing they're exposed, Bourne urgently packs. He tells Marie to do the same, but she's frozen with fear. With no choice, he drags her along. As they exit, they find the housekeeper executed, slumped with a bullet wound. Bourne hurries them away, avoiding the crowd gathering near Castel's corpse, but one man in the group takes note. Meanwhile, Nicolette reports Castel's death to the CIA. In the car, Bourne tells Marie to wait while he hides the money. At the station, he secures the bag in a locker. Returning, he finds her gone. Alarmed, he searches until he locates her. Frustrated, he scolds her for not listening. She explains she only got a drink, thinking he'd be back. Bourne urges her to take his passport and seek police, but she refuses. He insists it's safer, but she won't go alone. Exasperated, Bourne admits he doesn't even know what to tell authorities. His pursuers know him, yet he doesn't know them. He needs clarity. Marie urges him to seek answers and chooses to stay. While studying a map, Bourne notices police approaching. He offers her one last chance to leave, but she buckles her seatbelt. As police close in, he speeds off. They chase, leading to an intense pursuit. With skillful maneuvers, Bourne loses them and hides in an alley. He warns Marie never to return to the car, as he'll wipe it clean of prints. He instructs her to fetch a scarf for disguise until he buys hair dye. Then he heads out to secure a safe spot. At a morgue, Wombosi inspects Michael Caine's body and instantly knows it isn't him. The corpse lacks gunshot wounds. Later, Nicolette tells Conklin that Wombosi rejected the body, leaving Conklin uncertain. Eventually, Bourne and Marie find a hotel. He helps dye her hair dark and cut it short. They share a kiss and give in to their attraction. Next morning, Marie wakes to Bourne watching her. He says he's already cleaned for prints. He wants to visit the hotel where he supposedly stayed as Caine to obtain billing records. Complicated since Caine is dead. Meanwhile, Wombosi is assassinated at home by a sniper, the Professor, acting on Conklin's orders. Outside the Regina Hotel, Bourne and Marie rehearse their story. She enters, but the receptionist stares oddly. Outside in a booth, Bourne grows tense when his call rings unanswered. Suddenly, Marie taps the glass. She already has the records. She explains the receptionist believed she was Caine's assistant and handed them over. Bourne is impressed. Marie laughs. At CIA, Abbott storms into Conklin's office with news of Wombosi's death. Conklin coolly asserts Bourne must have completed the job. He assures Abbott Bourne will check in within a day, per protocol. Abbott demands next steps, and Conklin vows to handle it. Bourne begins calling numbers from the hotel bill, crossing them off one by one. Police later recover Marie's abandoned car, but find no prints. Zorn reports this, and soon the Professor is reassigned. After many calls, Bourne gets a lead with Samuel Rollins at Alliance Security. Next morning, he visits the office, where staff recognize him as Caine and bring him to the director. They discuss a vessel, and Bourne gathers files. Outside, he confirms to Marie he is Caine, yet also Bourne. She says she saw Caine's body in a morgue, wondering whose it was if he's Caine. They head to the morgue, bribing an attendant for entry, but the drawer is empty. The mortician says the body was removed the prior night. When Bourne presses, the man insists on protocol. Bourne signs the log, then rips out the page. Outside, Marie asks what he's seeking. Bourne explains Wombosi came searching for Caine's body. Since Wombosi's name appears in the Alliance files, he must know something. They reach Wombosi's residence, but find mourners grieving his assassination. Later, Marie tries to read a French paper. Bourne translates, 3 weeks ago, Wombosi told police a man attempted to kill him aboard his yacht. He claimed he chased him off and shot him twice. In other words, Bourne is that assassin, leaving Marie stunned. Near their hotel, Bourne notices police cars outside and quickly halts the taxi. He gets out with Marie, walking away, warning their cover is blown. She doubts him, so Bourne smashes a car window and shows her a wanted sheet with their photos. Overwhelmed, she walks off, saying she wants out. Bourne insists they must stay together. If separated, both could be killed. He promises to drive her anywhere she wants before disappearing. At CIA, Conklin rages at Paris police. Abbott, frustrated Bourne hasn't checked in, reminds him of the committee. Conklin insists Bourne is the problem. If not neutralized, they're doomed. He orders a full trace of Marie's residences. Reviewing her past, they locate every address from 6 years. Conklin orders surveillance at each. Meanwhile, Bourne drives her to her stepbrother Eamon's house. She checks under a pot for a key, but Bourne breaks in. Spotting lights, he urges departure, but Eamon arrives. Marie explains she thought it safe to stay. Eamon agrees reluctantly and cooks dinner. Outside, Bourne observes children playing. Later, Eamon asks Marie what Bourne does. She claims shipping. He questions if Bourne is good for her. She admits she's happy. After dinner, Eamon brings blankets. Bourne sleeps on the floor, Marie in the bed. At CIA, intel shows Marie lived there in 1997. Conklin updates Abbott, convinced the house is their best chance. That night, Nicolette gives the professor his assignment. At Eamon's, Marie wakes to find Bourne gone, only to spot him watching the kids. He tells her he no longer cares who he is. He wants to forget and asks her to run away with him, saying they have the money. Marie hesitates. Next morning, as they prepare to leave, the children note their dog missing. Eamon offers to help, but Bourne grows tense. He asks if the dog often runs, and when told no, he warns Eamon to take the family downstairs. Eamon assumes Marie caused trouble, but Bourne insists danger is real. Seeing his seriousness, Eamon complies. Marie finds dead phone lines. Bourne arms himself with a shotgun. Marie panics, regretting they came. Bourne assures her they'll be safe. He fires into the distance, causing an explosion and obscuring the sniper's view. Still, the professor spots Bourne heading into woods and follows. He fires but misses, then packs up to chase on foot. In the forest, Bourne tricks him by startling birds. He wounds the professor and approaches. The man admits he works alone. Like Bourne, he mentions Treadstone, a program they both serve. But Bourne is confused. The professor is shocked he doesn't remember. Before revealing more, he dies, leaving Bourne shaken. Back at Eamon's, Bourne urges the family to leave. He gives Marie the red bag with cash, taking $30,000 out. He wants her safe, urging her to start anew. She resists but asks his plan. He says he'll end it. After they leave, Bourne searches the professor's bag, finds a phone, and dials. Nicolette answers, transferring him to Conklin. Following protocol, Zorn asks for code. Abbott listens, surprised at Bourne's voice. He tells them their man is gone and demands answers. Conklin urges him to come in, warning the hunt won't stop. He asks about Marie, but Bourne lies she's dead. Bourne proposes a meeting at Pont Neuf. He instructs Conklin to come alone, remove his jacket, and face east. Before Conklin replies, Bourne hangs up. Conklin prepares a flight. Abbott questions, but Conklin insists he'll fix it. In Paris, Conklin approaches the bridge wired and backed by agents. Bourne, watching, calls and says he's gone because Conklin broke the rule. He then slips to the surveillance van and plants a tracker. Returning, Conklin orders Treadstone cleared. Mannheim gets word. Bourne follows the tracker to Treadstone. Conklin arrives, securing the site. He and Nicolette shred files. That night, Bourne sets off car alarms, sneaks in, and cuts power. Conklin arms himself. Bourne ambushes, disarms, and demands answers. Conklin calls him a failed 30 million weapon. Bourne asks why he was targeted. Conklin presses what happened in Marseille. Bourne recalls. He infiltrated Wambosi's yacht, aimed at him, but froze seeing children. He couldn't shoot, turned away, and was shot, falling into the sea. Conklin insists he failed, but Bourne declares Jason Bourne is gone. He warns if hunted again, he'll fight back. Knocking Conklin out, he escapes after killing 2 more agents. Conklin staggers out, only to be gunned down by Mannheim. At CIA, Zorn tells Abbott it's done. Abbott orders Treadstone shut. Later, in a meeting, Abbott reports Treadstone ended for cost reasons, proposing Blackbriar. Meanwhile, Marie runs a scooter rental business. She looks up and is stunned to see Bourne. He smiles, asking to rent a scooter. She asks for ID. He says he has none. Marie runs to him, embracing him. At last, they'll choose their own path.